everybody, Noelle here with your Tech Tip Tuesday. I'm going to show you how to use the breakout rooms and the activity bar in Google Meets. And I have my lovely 8th grade PM class with me today. They are going to be the models for this. So let's begin. In this area right here where you see the triangle, square, and circle, these are the activities that Google Meets gives us. And these are awesome tools to use in your classroom. I use it here and there. I love breakout rooms, but I also like the polls and the Q&A option as well. It's a great way to switch things up in the classroom. So I'm going to show you how to use the breakout rooms. The first thing is that you have to have all of your students in the class in order to create your breakout room. You can't create a breakout room by just trying to put people's names in and they're not here. So usually you kind of wait while students are doing the do now or a warm-up activity to kind of set that up. And you're going to do that by clicking the pencil option. Here you can see I can click and make as many rooms as I want or as little as I want, okay? And it usually shuffles and breaks it down for you automatically. In this case, I might want 4 rooms, okay, or 2 rooms to give everyone enough time to collaborate and talk with each other. Whatever rooms you need, you can do that. But say I'm like, oh, I don't want to put these students together, or this student works better with this student. I'm going to drag this student to breakout room 2, and then maybe I'll switch this student to breakout room 1. I can also say, you know what, I really want to work one-on-one with this student because they're having a lot of problems. So I'm going to just cancel them out in that breakout room and make sure that they come in the main call and stay there with me. Or I can just shuffle and shuffle until I feel confident enough that, okay, this is a good group to work together. You can always clear your work too, start over, start fresh, especially if you don't like the options that the breakout rooms gave to you. Also, if you have students working in a group project, you might need to be more specific in who is working together. And I can do that by simply dragging and dropping those students into a breakout room to be there together. So now that I have my breakout room set up, I have a few students that want to stay in the main call with me while 2 other groups are going to go into the breakout room. When I say open rooms, students are going to get a prompt to go to that breakout room session, and then they're going to accept it and head over. Whenever you see in yellow, that means the students are currently needing to transition to that breakout room. And I know that they're successful when I start to see their names in these sessions. Okay, thanks guys, you're being so awesome. Like I said, some students are going to stay in the main call with me while others go into a breakout room. You'll see the little joins on the side right here. I can go into any room at any point and check in on them. And I'm not going to do that here because I am making sure I'm more time conscious with this video. But while my students have accepted the breakout rooms and they're there, I can go to edit rooms and click on timer. And I can put a timer for each room. So I can say, you know what? They only have 10 minutes to be in this room. Oh, God. I got kicked out. I'm back. Okay. So I was saying that the breakout rooms, I can give them a timer and I can say, okay, this is going to end in 10 minutes. And I'm going to press okay. What's going to happen is that in those breakout rooms, those students are going to see a little marker and it's going to say classes, breakout rooms will end in 10 minutes. And I'm going to save. I also even see it that it worked right here, ending in 11 minutes. So you know it worked that way. When you see a student grayed out like this, it means they simply got disconnected. They're having technical difficulties, but the moment that they log back into Google Classroom, they'll be automatically put into that breakout room again. I can even close the rooms on my own without using the timer. When you press close rooms, this is a new feature Google Classroom has put in that it will give you at least 1 minute to get the kids to wrap up their thoughts. If I want to have it end immediately, I just press it again, and those students can rejoin at any moment. So that's breakout rooms. So thanks to those students who participated. You guys did a great job. We're still going. The next thing we're going to be doing is polls. So this is a great way to maybe start the class off or end with an exit ticket. The only downside here is that you can't see who answered. I can't see who answered in the poll. It's anonymous. So if you're not looking to give credit for this in any way, it's a good way to just kind of assess your students. So I'm going to ask my students, what ice cream flavor do you like? Okay, between chocolate and vanilla. Okay, and I'm going to say save, and then I'm going to launch. Now, all those students who are in my class right now, they're going to see right here where it says activities, a little green dot is going to show up. That's to guide them to go to that poll and start filling out their answer. Which ice cream flavor do you like? Do you like chocolate? Do you like vanilla? And depending on how many students you have in your class and who are participating actively will depend on your votes. And I have about 6 votes here, okay? And I'm satisfied. I'm like, okay, I got enough students, I'm good, and then I can end the poll. The poll results will stay. They'll stay in this little area until then, but it has completely ended. The next thing that I like to do is if students are in breakout rooms or I'm working one-on-one individually with a student, I start a Q&A. And the Q&A is simply allowing the students to put all their questions into this like forum. Okay, so if I'm giving a lecture or if I'm giving a lesson and they have questions while I'm talking, I would probably put this on to say, hey, go to that, ask me a question, okay, and I'll get to you after. So everyone in here, all my beautiful models, if you guys can type a question in the Q&A to show the teachers and faculty how this works. So I'm waiting for my students to ask me a question. It's a good thing if they don't have questions, right? Because that means that they understand it. But if you feel like there's a lot being thrown their way, or you want to just check in on them and make sure that they have no issues with anything, this Q&A is a really good way to do that. So I had one student saying, what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite color, right? It can be liked, okay? I can say that I answered this. My favorite movie is Remember the Titans. Answered it. Okay. That's letting me know that I have addressed that student. What's your favorite color? Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna say like a blue. Okay. And I answered that for that student. And then at any point you're not wanting to ask any or have any questions come through, you can always turn off the Q&A, and it even tells the students that, hey, the Q&A is now closed, but maybe it will open back up later in the lesson. So these are the 3 options that we get with the activities on Google Meets. It's really good to use throughout class and to make our lessons based off of that as well. And it's a really great feature to use. So thank you for joining us for Tech Tip Tuesday. If you have any questions, please fill out that Google Forms in the email. One last thing, every time you do use the activities in Google Meets, they do send you an email breaking certain things down. The first thing is the attendance for those students that were in class during that time, any of the questions that you may have posted in the classroom, as well as any polling results. So going back to the poll, it is anonymous when you post it up on Google Meets. You're not going to see the individuals who responded, but if I only got 6 votes and I had 8 people in class, now I could really see who didn't participate, right? Or maybe they answered a question wrong and I need to follow up with that student because they didn't understand it. So even though in Google Meets you don't see who voted for what, they do send you an email with those results, and you can always save those results for your own report or data because it is exported into a Google Sheets.